What is up, Notre Dame fans? Mike Singer from blueandgold.com with our football analyst Tim Hyde talking about another new commitment for the Fighting Irish. Rico Flores, Folsom, California. He has announced his commitment to the Fighting Irish, number 171 overall player, nationally number 28 wide receiver. Picked Notre Dame over finalists. Georgia and Ohio State had a bunch of other offers as well. Alabama's was school that was after him early in his process. So, as we always do, Tim, with these commitment videos that we do, and there's been a lot of them recently, your initial reaction to this news, Tim?
Great news because he's a huge player of need at a, as we know, the most important position because of the depth issues, wide receiver. And Rico Flores is going to bring a high skill set. I think he's a fundamentally sound football player from a great high school in Folsom, California, up north in Northern California. He's a good athlete. He's a guy who get the ball in his hands and let him make some plays. And, there's a reason why a lot of those big schools recruited him to be that, is, the playmaker, the guy who's going to, you feel like when you watch his film, you just feel like you trust this guy. He's going to do the right things. He's an excellent route runner, got solid hands, very well coached. Like I said, he comes from one of the premier Northern California schools in the state, and it's a big need. And I think where he's coming from, the coaching he's had, here he's against De La Salle, one of the top programs in America. And I think he could come in and play right away because he's going to bring that skill set of being well coached, being able to run the routes, the proper things that Notre Dame's going to be asking for. And I think he could get on the field right away there as a true freshman.
So watching him, he reminds me of a player who we really liked last year for Notre Dame that ended up flipping his commitment from the Irish to USC, and that's CJ Williams.
Yep.
Now, they're more possession receivers, and I feel like that's such a negative connotation when Notre Dame fans say possession receiver. Like, now he's not a burner, like that's not his attribute, but he is. Both guys are just professionals at getting open, catching the football, and making plays. Like, both are playmakers, big body guys. Probably put. I don't know, Tim. I guess we can talk next about after you tell me what you think about the comparison. Where you'd put Flores? Is he a slot guy? Because you could put him anywhere. He's a technician as a route runner. So first, Tim, your thoughts on my comparison to CJ Williams, and then where you would play him.
Yeah, and the thing with CJ Williams was a lot of the same thing. He's not going to be he's not a 4-4 guy. He's not running by you.
There you go.
And whatnot. He's gonna run proper routes. The guy knows how to break. The guy knows how to cut. You can see he's got excellent footwork on his routes, especially when he's doing in cuts. Look at that move right there, the double move to break outside. He's fundamentally sound. And when you say that, he could come in and play right away because he's gotten really good coaching. He's coming from an excellent high school. And those are all positives, especially at Notre Dame at the wide receiver position. You don't need to coach this guy for 2 years. He's had a lot of that. So I think that's a good thing. When you say possession receiver, everyone thinks he's a 5'2", 40 guy. No, he's definitely not that. But he's the guy that's going to run the curl. He's the guy that's going to run the out route. He's a guy who's going to run the proper routes to, on the when it's 3rd and 8, boom, he's going to make sure he gets one step past the 8-yard marker to get that first down. Those are all things he's getting at Folsom. I truly believe, because I know that program quite well. That catch right there is outstanding. He's bringing a lot of good things to Notre Dame. He's a very good wide receiver. And as you and I have talked in these videos, over the months, he's also in that ranking where Notre Dame's had a lot of success getting those guys in that 25 to 35 ranking range of, nationally ranked wide receivers in the position group. They've had a lot of good success with football players in that. And he's one of those. I really like him. I think he's the guy that can come in. He's going to be needed. And when you're getting a guy like this, that's okay.
Man, he is good. We've talked a lot about just last Wednesday as well on our show that, there are receivers everywhere. So if you're ranked like the number 40 wide receiver in the country, that's still really, really good. That's all. I would argue that's more impressive than being the number 1 center in the country. There's a lot. Every school signing 3, 4, 5 wide receivers in a class. So there's a lot of good receivers to go around. So
He's got
uh,
in his hands. I mean, he uses
oh,
his hands so much on so many of these throws that shows you, once again, look at it right there. Just goes and snatches that in between two defenders. He's the more you watch him, he grows on you because you're like,
yeah,
this guy is going to make some good football players for Notre Dame. He could be a heck of a third down, receiver for them.
I love this guy. I told you before we started recording, I hadn't watched Flores tape. It's been a while.
Mhm.
Okay, he's playing some DB too, some safety. So yeah, I needed a refresher, and yeah, there's some wow to Rico Flores, and like just admirers of the game of football. Like you see this young man playing, he just
Yes.
seems to love football. Super high IQ
Yeah.
player.
Play.
Yeah, this is a really nice get for the Irish. So transitioning, wrapping up, Tim, Rico Flores, Braylon James. Obviously, Notre Dame would love to add Jaden Greathouse. We do believe that Notre Dame's recruiting Ronan Hannafin up from Massachusetts as a receiver now. That's where Hannafin prefers to play at the next level, is our understanding. I mean, that would be a pretty darn good quartet of receivers, don't you think? And just getting signing 4 would be a win in itself.
Exactly. I mean, even if they just got these two right here with James and Flores, I mean, they're getting 2 top 200 prospects. That only happened 2 times during the Brian Kelly years, 2016 with Claypool and McKinley, and then with Styles and Colsey just a couple years ago. So Notre Dame has not gotten nationally ranked, big time elite receivers like this. So you're getting 2 in one class. You get a Jaden Greathouse. Now you're getting 3 ranked in the top 200. Hannafin's the most, I mean, just with his offer list alone, is he the most underrated football player in America? Because I think every top 10 team has offered him, it seems like.
Something like that, yeah.
So outstanding, and he's going back to, Michael Bell, who committed to Notre Dame as an athlete. Another guy,
Yeah.
when you get Hannafin, what's he going to play? He could play 5 spots. Find one for him and get him on the field. So if they are recruiting him as a wide receiver and you get him to go with these other guys, you bring in 4, you're getting 4 guys that, they're going to be needed early just because of the depth issues, but they're also guys that could possibly go in and play early, which is huge for Notre Dame.
Just real quick, Tim. And again, we're saying it's an if.
Yes.
Right? Notre Dame does have Flores and Braylon James committed. And we're going if Notre Dame's able to land Ronan Hannafin and Jaden Greathouse. You do see on 3 recruiting prediction machine likes the Irish for both. But is there any concern in your mind that Rico 6'1", 190, Braylon James is another big-bodied receiver, Hannafin's listed at 6'3", 200, and Jaden Greathouse is 6'2", 220? Is there anything in you that says, I would like more smaller slot receiver types or in anything like that?
Find some 6'5" guys and throw the lob balls too, which they've done for many years. A slot guy, a quick cat guy to get the ball to, and a guy who could run the seams versus nickel coverage and stuff like that. Which
That's
I think of that. I think of Avery Davis against Clemson, the big catch he did.
But I mean, yeah,
those are tough to get.
Rico Flores, we saw him on his highlights. I think he's the slot in this class.
No,
I thought CJ Williams was going to be the slot of Notre Dame's last class.
Well, with Braylon James, put him outside and let him just dominate the perimeter. I think Greathouse is that big physical, boundary type of guy. And then I think you're right. You do a Rico Flores as a slot. He's the guy you can motion, run some bubble screens, push fade, as we call it with the slot, pushing out to the perimeter and on the fades there. And then Hannafin, he's just an athlete. I mean, he runs fast. You get the ball to him. Is he a outside guy? Is he a perimeter guy, a wide side guy, or is he going to be another boundary guy, jump ball type? So you're getting 4 really good football players if that happens. We know we got 2. Notre Dame fans have got 2 in there. You got to close those 2 because of the depth issues. Playing time is going to be there to go along with the 2021 class and Tobias Merriweather, who's on campus now. So playing time is there for these guys, and they're all good. There's no projects. There's no, we got to let this guy develop for 3 years. There's some dudes that could come in and catch the ball and run right away for Notre Dame and Coach Freeman.
Yeah, that's a great point. So if Flores is comparable to CJ Williams, what Notre Dame needs to have not happen is let CJ get a or let Rico get away like CJ did, and I do think Notre Dame let off the gas a little bit after CJ committed, so they got to make sure and I don't think that'll be a problem with this staff,
No.
not letting off the gas a little bit with Rico Flores. Now he's committed. So big get for the Irish. I know you liked what you saw in this video because you saw a lot of Rico Flores film. So make sure you hit the thumbs up on this video. Help support what we're doing at Blue and Gold. Subscribe to our channel if you somehow have not yet. And make sure you go to blueandgold.com, your home of everything Notre Dame athletics.